recording po para ma-review ng mga classmates nyo or ninyo yung ating proceedings. Okay, I'm recording. Thank you, Paul, for reminding me of the recording. So yun po, no? So just in case merong mga hindi ako naiayos, sabihan niyo lang po ako so that we will be able to present well. Okay, going back to our discussion, so 1.1. So again, familiar na po kayo sa vectors in your physics classes. No? So vectors was introduced, scalars were introduced. No? So in electromagnetics, ito po yung gagamitin natin. So basically, the definition of vectors, this refers to quantities that has both magnitude and direction. Example of vectors, we have the forces, velocity, acceleration, flux, current, voltage, etc. Okay. Now, ang challenge po dito is we'll be talking of quantities which is not visible to the eye. Kaya po we need to, so imaginary lang po lahat. No? So scalar refers to quantities that contains magnitude only. Example, we have the mass, the density, the volume, distance, speed, and so on. So in our electromagnetics class, we have this following notation. So when you see a bold letter with a bar on top, this refers to a vector. A bold letter without a bar is a scalar quantity. A small letter represents a unit vector. But generally, a vector can be expressed in the form, okay, basahin ko po vector A is equal to capital AX, small ax plus capital AY, small ay plus capital AZ, small az. So yung capital AX, AY, AZ are known as your component scalars. Yung small ax, ay, and az are our unit vectors. Now, the combination of capital AX and small ax, capital AY and small ay, and capital AZ and small az are known as our component scalar, or component vectors, sorry, component vectors. So component vectors have a magnitude which depends on the given vector, but they each have a known and constant direction. So example po ng vector R ang ginamit dito with component vectors X, Y, and Z. So basically, this is our three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. So most of the time, we use the two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system wherein we have the X as the horizontal and the Y as our vertical. For electromagnetics, we're using the three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system wherein we have the X, the Y, and the Z. So yung X po is pointing towards us, and horizontal po to the right is Y, and vertical going upward is your Z. So definitely, if we have the positive X, Y, Z value, we also have the negative X, Y, Z value in their opposite direction. Now, what you see in the slide, in the BBB, is a figure which is a six-sided figure. So we call this a rectangular parallelepiped. No? So this is a six-sided figure. So we can say that box po siya. No? So pwede po natin i-relate sa box. Now, X and Y produces a plane, XY plane. Ito pong nasa ilalim. X and Z produces an XZ plane, and then the YZ plane produces another plane. Now, if we will complete the box, so this is an enclosed box, we will produce a rectangular parallelepiped. and the corresponding vector r was is produced, no? So ganun po yung ginagawa natin in order for us to represent the given vector. So naglalagay po tayo ng mga planes. So xy plane, xz plane, and yz plane, and then we will complete the box. Mamaya po, I'll show you how to plot a vector. Okay, a unit vector are directed. Unit vector are directed along the coordinate axis in the direction of increasing coordinate values. Ito naman po yung unit vectors natin. Ax is along x-axis, ay is along y-axis, and az is along the z-axis. So yan po yung defined direction ng unit vectors natin. Okay. So as shown in figure B, AX, AY, and AZ are unit vectors wherein AX lies along the x-axis, AY lies along the y-axis, and AZ lies along the z-axis. So vectors may be added, subtracted, while vectors may be multiplied by scalar, and vectors may also be divided by a scalar quantity. So ito na po yung vector algebra natin. So pwede po natin i-combine yung vectors, so we can add. So, commutative po siya. Pwedeng pagbaliktarin ng possession, pag-addition. Associative po siya. Pwedeng i-distribute natin. For example, you have A plus quantity B plus C. We can rewrite this as quantity A plus B plus C. Subtraction of two vectors, A minus B, is basically equal to vector A plus the negative of vector B. Multiplication of vectors with scalar, so distributive din po ang property natin, so we can distribute. And then division of vectors by a scalar, simply multiply the vector by the reciprocal of the scalar. May typo error lang po ako dito. So division po kasi, no? Division of a vector by a scalar, simply multiply the vector by the reciprocal of the scalar. Okay, hindi po tayo pwedeng mag-divide ng vector over a vector. Ang pwede lang po, vector over a scalar quantity. Okay, for example, if vector A is represented by, say for example, A is equal to AX plus, babasahin ko na lang po ng diretso ha, AX plus AY plus AZ. The magnitude of A written as, ito po, yung may dalawang vertical sign, may vertical symbol, is given by the square root of ax square plus ay square plus az square. So ito po yung formula natin. This is the formula for solving for the magnitude of a given vector. So please, kailangan po nating matandaan yung mga formulas na yan as we go on with our discussion. Okay. Now, a unit vector in the direction of A is given AA. So, meron pong subscript na capital A, yung small a natin, representing a unit vector, which is equal to the given vector over its magnitude, or A divided by the symbol of the magnitude of A. Ayan po. So, these are two formulas na, wherein AX, AY, and AZ are called component scalar, and AX, AY, and AZ are unit vectors. Now, the magnitude may also represent the length of the vector, and the unit is a vector with a magnitude of, and the unit vector, sorry, may typo error na naman dito, and the unit vector is a vector with a magnitude of 1. Okay. Uulitin ko po yun, i-emphasize ko. So, the magnitude may also represent the length of the vector. So, pag tinanong po kayo, what is the length of the vector? What is the distance between the 2 points? You simply solve for the magnitude. Malinaw po yun. No? So, ginagamit natin yung pagkuha ng yung magnitude to solve for the distance, to solve for the length. Now, a unit vector is a vector with a magnitude of 1. Tandaan niyo po ito. Pag unit vector po ang pinag-uusapan, ang magnitude po niya laging equal to 1. Measured from the tail of a vector at the direction of vector A. So, ang measurement ng 1 is from the tail. So, dalawa po yon, isang head, isang tail. So, laging yung tail po ang ginagamit natin na reference. Okay. Let's have this. So, from time to time po, I'll be using my electronic board para po mas ma-emphasize yung ating discussion. So, but again, balik po ako dun sa just in case you have questions po, I would appreciate if you will open your microphone. So, pwede rin naman yung chat box, kaya lang po hindi ko nga po makita. Let's have this very first example. Given 2 points, P, with coordinates 1, 2, 3, and point Q with coordinates 2, -2, and 1, find a vector in the direction of P to Q. Okay. This is a very basic example, but very important na maintindihan po natin. Now, the module is designed in such a way na pag binabasa niyo po itong module natin, para na po akong nag-explain sa inyo. Ginawa ko po siya in such a way na pag binabasa niyo siya, parang kausap niyo na rin po ako. Now, when you plot coordinate points, bear in mind that the position of the coordinate values in the 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system as shown in the figure. Sige po. I-plot natin. So, hindi ko na po babasahin ito kasi parang nag-explain po ako dito. Okay. So, point P, 1, 2, 3, point Q, 2, -2, and 1. Punta po ako doon sa whiteboard ko. And then, mag-draw na lang po muna ako ng Cartesian coordinate system, 3D Cartesian coordinate system. Para po mas madali po tayo magkaintindihan. So again, ito po yung positive values natin. These are the positive values for x. This is my x. This is my y. This is my z. Take note that all these three are perpendicular, meaning 90 degrees po yung kanilang angle difference. No? So if you have negative value, ibig sabihin nasa kabila ka. Unahin ko muna pong i-plot. Let us first plot yung 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so ganito po So we have x is 1, y is 2, and z is 3. So let us say that this is 1, y is 2, and then z is 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, the first thing that we need to do para makuha po natin yung point P is we draw planes. So, unahin ko muna yung XY plane. I-drawing ko po yan. Gamit po ako ng ibang kulay. Let's use green. Green pen. So, asan yung XY plane? Ito po yun. Gagawa ka ng plane dito. Ayan. 1 and 2. This is your plane. And then, what about the XZ plane? So, para lang po tayo nagdo-drawing 101 dito. Okay, that is your XZ plane. And then the YZ plane, this is 1. Parang pagpasensyahan nyo na po yung linya ko pag freehand. Okay, So yan po yung tatlong planes na meron tayo. Again, the XY plane, the XZ plane, and the YZ plane. So what we need to do now is to project this plane and create a box. So again, drawing 101. So maglalagay lang po ako ng additional lines para po makumpleto ko po yung box natin. There. So nasaan po yung point P? Point P is here. Ito po yung point P natin. So this is my point P. Now, ang coordinates po ng point P na yan is 1, 2, and 3. Is that clear? Malinaw po ba yung pagpa-plot ng point? Nasusundan po ba or do we have any questions? Okay, thank you, Eman, Andrea, Reggie, Lance, Lawrence. Ano ba na-miss ko? Okay, so thank you. Sige po, let's continue. Now, let us now plot the other point, which is 2, -2, and y. Take note, ang pagkakasunod po niyan, x, y, and z. So, x, y, and z in that order. So, yung point Q ko, 2, -2, and wait. 2, -2, and 1. Saan naman yun? X is 2. Okay. This is 1. So, let us say this is 2. -2. Y is -2. So, maglalagay po ako ng line sa sorry. Undo. Zero. Let's have this one. Okay. So this is the negative value for y. No? So positive, 2, -2, and 1. So dito po ay 1, 2. Tapos 1 na lang po dito sa z. Okay. So ito po yung mga points ko. Now, katulad ng ginawa po natin kanina, same din yung gagawin natin ngayon. Yellow thing. Yellow. Okay, hindi masyadong kita to. So, drawing ko po ulit yung XY plane. Hindi masyadong visible. Medyo malabo. And then, I have the XZ plane. One lang po ako dito. Okay. And then, I have the X pangkulang ko. So, meron akong XY plane, meron akong YZ plane, XZ plane. Yun lang po ang kulang ko. So, I have this one. Okay. So, again, meron tatlong planes kayong nakikita. So, I just need to complete this para makakreate po ako ng isang box. So, connect ko lang ito and then this one. Okay. So, medyo yellow, hindi masyadong visible. Nasaan yung point Q? Point Q po is somewhere here. Q with coordinates 2, -2, and +1. So again, X, Y, and Z. Ayan po yun. Okay, so are we following? Next is, what is the question? Find the vector in the direction of P towards Q. So ang hinahanap po natin is a vector from P. So gamit po ako ng mas malaking kulay black. Okay. So from this point, papunta po dito, yun yung vector na hinahanap natin. So para diretso, gumamit na ako ng arrow. So take note that when we talk of vectors, the direction is very important. No? Importante po yung direction natin if we talk of vectors. So kailangan po ay sorry. No, just this one. Ito po. Galing ako kay P, papunta ako kay Q. Okay. Take note of the arrow. Ayan. So, normally, ang ginagamit ko pong notation dito is hindi vector from P to Q is R, P, Q. Yan po yung notation. Yung unang letter po na nakikita niyo sa subscript, P, ito po yung tail ng vector, and then yung head po ng vector ko is yung pangalawa. So pag nakita nyo RPQ, that means the tail is at P, the head is at Q. Malinaw po ba yun? Now, paano ko kukuhanin yung value ng RPQ? So madali lang po ito. So RPQ is basically, RPQ is basically, ang tatandaan nyo lang ito, head minus tail. Okay. So yung coordinates ng head minus coordinates ng tail. So, meaning, ang tatandaan mo lang dyan, okay. So, kung ito po ang aking head, gagawin ko itong 2, ito gagawin kong 1. Para lang po mas maintindihan ninyo. So, x1, dito po, magiging x2, y2, z2, x1, y1, z1. Okay. So, bali, head, I have x2 minus x1 ax plus y2 minus y1 ay plus z2 minus z1 az. Malinaw po ba yun? So again, if you have questions po, please get my attention. So R, PQ, so this is a vector. So anong value ng x2 ko? I have 2 minus x1 is 1. Ax plus y2 you have negative 2 minus y1 is 2 ay plus z2 is 1 minus 3 az. So therefore we have ax, so 2 minus 1, that's 1. So pwedeng hindi ko na isulat yung 1 minus 4 ay minus 2 az. So ingat lang po tayo with the addition subtraction of numbers. So mag-iingat lang po tayo doon. So ito na po yung vector. This is now our vector from P towards Q. Okay. So ayan po yun. So ax minus 4ay minus 2az. Nagkaintindihan po ba tayo doon? So again, sabi ko nga po sa inyo earlier, this is very basic but this is very important. So kailangan po marunong kayong kumuha ng vectors lahat. I-apply po natin to as we go on with our discussion. So, okay. So far, are we good? Malinaw po ba ang pinag-usapan natin so far with plotting of points and solving for vectors? Yes, salamat po for responding. Okay. So going back to our discussion po, let's have this one. So given two vectors, RA, which is equal to negative ax minus 3ay minus 4az, and another vector RB, which is equal to 2ax plus 2ay plus 2az. and a point C with coordinates 1, 3, and 4. Take note, yung point C po, pwede rin natin i-represent ng vector. At yung vector, pwede rin natin i-represent ng point. Kaya lang, laging ang reference mo doon is the origin. For example, yung point C na may coordinates 1, 3, and 4 may be written as 1ax plus 3ay plus 4az. So, pwede po yun. No? So, ito po, medyo marami po yung hinahanap dito. We have find vector r, AB. Letter B, the magnitude of RA. Letter C, the unit vector AA. And D, the unit vector AB. And E, a unit vector directed from C towards A. So, 5 po yung pinapasolve sa atin dito. Given 2 vectors and 1 point. Sige po, let's work on this. Punta po uli ako sa... Kunin ko muna po yung mga given. And then punta po tayo doon sa ating whiteboard. Okay. So punta po ako sa whiteboard. Meron pa po akong space dito. Okay. Nambroken po yung aking... Sige po. Let's have example number 1. Example number 1. So, sulat ko lang po yung given dito, no? So, given vector RA, which is equal to negative AX minus 3AY minus 4AZ. And then, given vector RB, which is equal to 2AX plus 2AY plus 2AZ. And then we have here a point C with coordinates 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so we are asked to solve for the following. Letter A. So, RAB daw. Letter B, magnitude of RA. Letter C, we have a unit vector along A. Letter D, we have AAB. And letter E, a unit vector directed from C towards A. So ganito ko po isusulat yun, ha? A unit vector directed from C towards A. Ang unit vector, small a lang po. And then, ang subscript ko po, CA. From C papunta kay A. So ganun po yung paggamit ko ng subscript. Now, let's go back. So how do we solve RAB? So, from the notation po, from A to B. So, ang tail po natin ay A, ang B ay yung head natin. So, dun sa formula na binigay ko, head minus tail, so kukunin lang po natin yung difference. So, sino ang nasa head, sino ang nasa tail? Si B ang nasa head, so that will be 2 minus 1. Ingat po sa signed numbers. Baka po tayo magkamali. Okay. Plus, I have 2 minus 3 AY plus I have 2 minus 4 AZ. So, this will give me a value equal to 3. So minus becomes plus. So that's positive 3AX. So this becomes, okay, teka, mayroon akong, ayun na, patungan nyo. Negative 3 po ito dapat, sorry, negative 3. So 2 minus 3, that will give you 5. AY, and then plus 2 minus minus 4, this becomes 6 AZ. So mag-iingat po tayo dun sa sign. Kasi po, pag nagkamali po tayo dun sa sign natin, problema na po yun. So this is our vector from A to B. Okay? What about the magnitude of RA? So binigay ko po sa inyo kanina yung formula for solving for the magnitude. So ang magnitude po natin, this is equal to the square root of, so negative 1 square plus negative 3 square plus negative 4 square. So pwede nyo pong i-calculate po ito. How much is this? This will give you a value equal to square root of 26, or if you will get the decimal value, this is 5.10 units. Okay, sabihan niyo po ako ha if you have problems. Now, what about the unit vector, AA? Ang formula po natin for unit vectors is equal to vector A over the magnitude of A. So, pero dito, ang ginamit po natin yung RA. So, adjust lang natin yung formula. So, RA divided by the magnitude of RA. Ayun. So, kumuha na po tayo ng magnitude ng RA, 5.10. So, this will give us now a value. So, vector over magnitude po, negative AX minus 3AY minus 4AZ all over 5.10 or square root of 26. So, i-distribute mo lang po yun, isa-isa lang. No? So, in decimal value, so medyo sumisikip na yung aking notepad. So, I will get here negative 0.196 AX minus, please verify kung tama po itong nilalagay ko. 558 AY and then 0.784 AZ. So, ito na po yung ating AA. Now, what about letter D? AAB. So, medyo adjust na po ako dito. Letter D, AAB is basically equal to RAB. Kinumpute na po natin ito, no? RAB divided by its magnitude. So, since na-compute ko na po yung RAB, which is yung letter A na sagot natin, so we have 3AX plus, oh no, this is, okay, positive, 5AY, and then plus 6AZ. Divide natin to with the magnitude. So, wala pa tayong nakuhang magnitude nito. We have the magnitude is equal to 3 square plus 5 square plus 6 square. And then we simplify this po. Okay. Tulungan niyo po akong mag-simplify. And then you can take the decimal value na po. Bigay ko na po yung decimal value. Please check po 0.359 AX plus 0.598 AY plus 0.717 AZ. And that is our final answer for letter D. Okay, for letter D. A, B po yun. Okay. And then last, letter E, ACA. So ngayon lang po natin gagamitin si point C. Pero again, Parang vector din po ito, x, y, and z, x, y, and z ang value. So pag sinulat pong A, C, A, so galing na po kay C, papunta kay A. So that will be A minus C, head minus tail. No? So I have A, -1, C is 1. So solving po, -1 minus 1 AX plus -3 minus 3, -3 minus 3 AY plus -4 minus 4 AZ. So simplifying, we have here -2 AX minus 6 AY minus 8 AZ. So since we're looking for a unit vector, teka, ginamit ko rito ay unit vector na, hindi pa pala ito unit vector. So this is simply vector A, vector C, RCA pa lang. Correction, vector RCA. Yun pa lang yung nakuha ko. So para makuha ko po yung unit vector at the direction of CA, saka po gagamitin yung formula na ito. RCA over the magnitude of RCA. Ayan. Saka lang po siya masosolve. So you have here -2AX minus 6AY minus 8AZ all over. You get the magnitude. No? So kunin po natin yung magnitude. Square root of -2 square plus -6 square plus -8 square. And then you simplify. Simplify nyo na po ito. How much will be our value? So that will be, magnitude natin is, please compute. Tama po ba? 10.2 po yan. And then we divide -2 divided by 10.2, -6 divided by 10.2, -8 divided by 10.2. So we will get a value equal to -0.196 AX minus 0.588 AY minus 0.784 AZ. So ito na po yung vector from C towards, a unit vector from C towards A. Okay. Kumusta po? Mabilis po ba? Or meron po kayong tanong? Sige po. Nasundan or mabilis? Meron po bang tanong? Sige. Write the chat box. Sakto lang po. Thank you, Andrea. Okay. Okay. So again, you call my attention if you have questions po. Importante po, nagkakaintindihan tayo dito. Okay, moving on. So, yan po yung mga sagot. Nilagay ko pong red para po mas madali nyo pong ma-recognize yung mga sagot natin dito sa module. So, you can recompute if you would like to go back. Pwede nyo pong balik-balikan. For you to better understand yung pinag-usapan natin. Okay? So, moving on. Sige po. Let's continue with our discussion. So, We move on to 1.2, the vector field. Okay. So the vector field is a vector function of x, y, and z. So we have the following remarks. Number one, the magnitude and direction will change as it moves throughout the field. Number two, the value of the vector function must be determined from the coordinate values of the point in question. Okay, let's have this example. Example number one. A vector field is given as W, which is equal to 4x squared y, ax, minus quantity 7x plus 2z, ay, plus 4xy plus 2z squared, az. Pansinin po ninyo yung vector field. The given vector field is a function of x, y, and z. So kanina po, number lang at saka yung unit vector. So ngayon po may variable x, y, and z doon sa given, which is represented by the vector field. So ganun po ang vector field natin, ha? Meron po siyang variable x, y, and z. The first question is, what is the magnitude of the field at the point 2, -3, and 4? All we have to do here is to substitute these values doon sa ating vector field. Papasok lang po natin yan. Letter B, give a unit vector that shows the direction of the field at the given point. Yung P po is the given point. So ibig sabihin, we need to solve for the magnitude po noon. And then letter C, at what point or points on the z-axis is the magnitude of W equal to unity? Yung letter C question po is somewhat tricky. No? Medyo tricky ng konti ito kasi we need to process po yung ating solution para po makuha natin yung sagot. Sige, unahin po muna natin yung letter A. So, punta po uli ako sa whiteboard. Although, nahandito na po yan, pero ipinapaliwanag ko pa rin po sa inyo. No? So, pwede nyo pong balik-balikan itong Canvas module natin. But I would like to reinforce yung understanding niyo but by using the whiteboard para po mas ma-illustrate ko sa inyo. Okay. So, ito po yung given na vector field natin sa example number 1. Under vector field. Example number 1. So, ang given po na vector field W natin is equal to 4x squared y ax minus quantity 7x plus 2z ay plus I have 4xy plus 2z squared. Okay. Az. Ito po yung vector field. So, the first question, letter A, ano raw yung magnitude at this given point? What is the magnitude of the field at the point? So, we're looking for the magnitude of W at point 2, -3, and 4. So, ang gagawin lang po natin, kunin muna natin yung value niyan. Okay. So, I have 4. Substitute lang natin to. X, Y, and Z. So, 4 times 2 squared times -3 ax minus quantity 7 times 2 plus 2 times 4, okay, ay plus 4, 2, -3 plus 2, 4 squared a 6. Okay. Now, simplify lang po natin. How much is W? W will give us what value? Ilan po ito? Negative 48 AX. What about the next one? How much is this? Negative 22 AY. And then the third term, plus 8 AZ. Now, yan na po ba yung sagot natin? Ang tinatanong po is what is the magnitude? Okay, hindi pa pala tapos. We need to solve for the magnitude at the given point. So kunin po natin yung magnitude dito. So magnitude of W at this given point, so you have square root of negative 48 square plus negative 22 square plus 8 square. So paki-compute po ito. Please compute. How much is the magnitude? Please check if this is correct. 53.4. Okay, paki-check po kung tama yan. Next question po. Give a unit vector that shows the direction of the field at point P. So, kukunin lang po natin yung unit vector nito. So, letter D question na po yun. So, AW at point P. No? So, this will be W, vector W at point P over the magnitude. Kinuha na po natin yon. So, you have negative 48 AX minus 22 AY plus 8 AZ over 53.4. Yung kinuha po natin na magnitude po nito. Okay, so simplifying. So AW, this will give us a value equal to negative 0.898. Paki-check nga po kung tama. AX minus 0.412 AY plus 0.149 AZ. So, ito na po yung sagot natin for letter A and letter D. Igitin ko po muna yung letter C. So, this is letter A and this is letter B. Now, going back to letter C, ano nga po ba yung tanong doon? So, ang tanong po, at what point or points on the z-axis is the magnitude of W equal to unity? Sige po, himay-himayin po natin yung tanong. At what point or point on the z-axis is the magnitude of W equal to unity? Tanong, class. Pag sinabing unity, anong numerical value ng unity? Hindi po politika ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, baka mamaya may pumasok na politics. Pag sinabing unity, unity is equal to what value? Chat box, please. Sige nga. Pag sinabing unity, ano po ang value? Walang kinalaman sa politika. Yun, Earl, that's correct. So, tama po si Earl Somil. Lawrence, okay. And then, Lawrence Eman, that's correct. Pag sinabi pong unity, we have 1. Kaya po meron tayo sa electrical na unity power factor. Ibig sabihin po noon, ang power factor natin is equal to 1. No? Tama yan, Eman. Huwag mo nang lagyan ng question mark. 1 is correct. So, unity is 1. So, at what points or points on the z-axis is the magnitude of magnitude of W equal to unity? So, babalikan ko po yung expression. Now, let's analyze letter C. Pag nasa z-axis po tayo, tanong ulit. Pag nasa z-axis po tayo, i-drawing ko nga yung XYZ dito. X, Y, Z axis. Okay, and X, Y, Z. Pag po ang point mo nasa Z-axis, ano? Pag ang point natin nasa Z-axis, ano ang value ng X at value ng Y? Chat box, please. Pag nasa Z-axis yung point ko, ano ang value ng X at ng Y? Chat box. Si Lance Cruz, 0. Si Irv, 0. Ryan, 0. That is correct. Di ba pag nasa Z-axis tayo, wala namang value si X, wala namang value si Y. So, yun yung isa sa ating observation doon sa tanong. So, ibig sabihin, kung nasa Z-axis yung point na hinahanap ko, ang value ng X at value ng Y, 0. So, i-rewrite ko po yung aking vector field. Vector field ko is 4x squared y, 4x squared y, ax minus quantity 7x plus 2z ay plus 4x y. May tumunog na naman. Meron po bang naging problem? Baka po na wawala ang aking screen sa inyo. Pag may tumutunog kung gano'n, may naging problem. So, nag-raise na hand. Okay. Sige, Carl, what's the question? May microphone ka, Carl? Carl, you raise your hand. May tanong? Where's Carl? Carl, hinihintay kita. Nasaan ka? Calling Carl. Carl Saligaw. Where are you? Ang hirap nang hindi magkaharap eh. Ano? Yes, Carl, nagtaas ka ng kamay. You raise your hand. Do you have any concern or question? Carl? Yan o, naka-raise yung hand mo hanggang ngayon. Sige, patalastas muna si Carl. Yes, Carl. Anything? Carl. Sir, napindot lang. Yes, this happens. No? Nangyayari po yan. Napindot lang. Na-lower na ni Carl yung hand niya. Okay, sige. Nagpatalastas lang si Carl for a while. Medyo baka napapagod na raw tayo. Naglalag. Okay, sige. Net connection. Okay, going back to our discussion. So, sabi natin, pag nasa Z-axis tayo, wala namang value ang X and Y pag nasa Z-axis tayo. No? So, along Z-axis, X and Y are 0. So, sasama ko na po yung magnitude, Okay, sige. Ito na lang muna, mamaya na. So, ibig sabihin, ito po, 0, ito 0, wala na to. Itong negative 7x, 0 na rin po. Ano na lang matitira? Negative 2z ay. Tapos, plus, so dito po, 0 na po ito. So, you have 2z squared az. Yan na lang po. Now, sabi, magnitude is equal to 1. So, kunin natin yung magnitude. No? So, magnitude of W daw is equal to 1, which is equal to, kunin ko na yung magnitude nito, square root of, So I have negative 2z squared plus 2z squared squared. Tama po ba yung sinulat ko ngayon? So I have here 1 is equal to square root of, this becomes 4z squared plus this becomes 4z squared. Tama po ba? Z to the fourth, sorry. Z to the fourth. There. Now, if we will square both sides para matanggal natin yung radical. So square both sides, simplify natin to. Square both sides. So we will have 1 4z squared plus 4z to the fourth. Okay, now, medyo i-rearrange ko po ito. 4z to the fourth plus 4z squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, i-process po natin. Medyo 4 at saka 2 yung power. I-reduce ko po, mag-let po ako para bumaba yung aking exponent. So if we will let y is equal to z squared, ano po ang mangyayari? This becomes 4y squared plus 4y minus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Look at the equation. Ano po yung equation na yan? This is a quadratic equation. Very good. So, pag susolving po natin yung quadratic equation, kung factorable, pwede. But if not, we can use the quadratic formula. Y is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Naalala nyo pa po ba yung formula na yan? Napakagamit na gamit po ng formula na yan para pag-solve ng problem. So let's solve for y. Y is equal to negative 4 plus minus square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 1 all over 2 times 4. Okay. So, ano po ang makukuha nating value ng y? So, you have negative 4 plus minus square root of 32 all over 8. So, if we take positive, ano po ang makukuha nating value ng y? Negative 4 plus square root of 32 over 8. How much is this? This will give us what? Paki-compute. 0.207. If you take negative, you will have y equal to negative 4 minus square root of 32 all over 8. So, ang makukuha mo po dito is a negative value, negative 1.21. So, i-discard na po yun natin yung negative. Bakit? Kasi po, we have y is equal to square root of y is equal to z squared. So, ibig sabihin po, para makuha ko yung z, kukunin ko yung square root of y. So, from our formula, y is equal to z squared. Para makuha ko yung z is equal to square root of y. So, hindi pwede yung negative value. So, discard na natin ito. Discard na natin yung negative value. So, pwede lang natin gamitin is the positive value. So, using the positive value, z is equal to the square root of 0.207. This will give us a value plus minus 0.455. So, ibig sabihin po, dapat ang value ng z is plus or minus 0.455 para maging 1 yung magnitude ng W. And that is the answer for letter C. Naintindihan po. So ito po kasi dalawang value po ito, no? Positive 0.455 at negative 0.455. Are we following? Nakakasunod po ba tayo? Okay. Thank you, Lawrence. Okay. So nandito po yan. Let's continue. Okay, so we are on 1.3 dot product. Sige po, moving on to 1.3. So dot product. So the dot product, by definition, given two vectors A and B, their dot product denoted by A dot B is equal to the product of the magnitude of A, the magnitude of B, and the cosine of the smaller angle between them. So in formula, ito po yung formula natin. So tatandaan nyo rin po ito. So remarks, pag dot product po, pwede pong magkabaligtad. Distributive din po tayo sa dot product. Scalar and vector po, pwede rin po natin kuhanin. So dot po ito, medyo nagkamali po ako ng paglalagay sa number 3. M multiplied by quantity A dot B po ito. Okay? So we're in M scalar. Number 4, AX dot AX is equal to 1, AY dot AY equal to 1, AZ dot AZ equal to 1. Ito lang po tatandaan nyo. If you're taking the dot product of two similar unit vectors, their dot product is equal to 1. Number 5, if you're taking the dot product of different unit vectors, their dot product is 0. Pag magkaiba, 0. Number 6, if vector A is given by A1AX plus A2AY plus A3AZ, and vector B is given by B1AX plus B2AY plus B3AZ, then A dot B is equal to A1B1 plus A2B2 plus A3B3. Take note of this. Dalawa na po yung formula natin for dot product. Ito po may cosine ng angle at itong A1B1 plus A2B2 plus A3B3. So again, this is an alternative formula for dot product. Now, it is very important to remember that the dot product of two similar unit vectors is equal to 1, and the dot product of two different unit vectors is equal to 0. Binanggit ko na po yan sa inyo kanina. So we have here the proof. So tandaan niyo po yung dalawang formula na to for taking the dot product. Huh? Okay, let's have this example problem. Show that vector A, 4ax minus 2ay minus 2az, and vector B, ax plus minus 4ax are perpendicular. Okay. Paano po ba i-show ito? Nandun po ito sa ating remarks dito. Ayan. Number 7, if vector A is perpendicular to vector B, then their dot product is 0. So, pag perpendicular po, the angle is 90 degrees. No? 90 degrees po yung angle natin. Perpendicular. So, okay. So, moving on. So, yun lang po yun, no? Hindi ko na i-rewrite ito kasi malinaw naman dito. So, A dot B, you have, yung formula number 2 po ang ginamit dito. So, 4 times 1 plus negative 2 times 4 plus negative 1 times negative 4. Nag-0, so ibig sabihin yung dalawang vector po ay perpendicular. So, ganun lang po siya kasimple. Okay. So, 1.5, we have the cross product. So, pag natapos po tayo nito, pwede na po tayong mag-lunch ng mas maaga. So, hopefully, dulo na to. Pero silipin ko lang po 1.5. Okay. Okay, so 1.5. At may 1.4 ako dito. 1.6 dapat ito. Typo error lang po ako. So, cross product. So cross product naman po, given two vectors A and B, their cross product is equal to the product of the magnitude of A and B and the sine of the smaller angle between them. Ito po yung formula natin. A cross B is equal to AN. AN is a unit vector normal to the surface, magnitude of A, magnitude of B, sine of the smaller angle between A and B. So tingnan niyo po yung pagkakaiba ng dot product at saka cross product. Sa cross product po, walang AN. Tapos cosine of theta ang nakalagay. Sa cross product, may AN, tapos sine theta ang given. So pag cross product po ang ginamit natin, we have the following remarks. Pag nagbaligtad po ng posisyon, nagde-negative value. So pwede pong distributive. Pag minultiply po na natin ng scalar, distributive din po. Number 4, ito tingnan nyo. Pag nag-cross product tayo ng parehong unit vector, the answer is 0. So AX cross AX, 0. AY cross AY, 0. AZ cross AZ, 0. Number 5, AX cross AY, AZ. Tingnan niyo po cyclic po ito, cyclical po ito. AY cross AZ is AX. Ito po, nagkamali ako dito. AZ cross AX, dapat po ito ay AY, hindi 0. Paki-correct po ito AY po ito. So AZ cross AX is equal to AY. Pag pinagbaligtad po ng posisyon, AY cross AX, negative AZ. Nagne-negative value. AZ cross AY, negative AX. AZ cross, nagkamali na naman. AZ cross AX cross AZ po dapat ito, negative AY. Sorry po sa mga typo kaya lang po hindi ko ma-edit agad-agad dito kasi naka-ano po ito naka-picture po itong inilagay ko dito. Kaya lang, i-take note po natin yan. AX cross AY, AX cross, AZ cross AX is A1. Note ko po dito bibigay ko rin po sa inyo yung kopya nitong notes ko. Sa cross product, may typo error po ako. Para po ma-emphasize lang yung typo. Cross product. Ang gutom na ang aking mga estudyante. So, AZ cross AX, this is AY. Pag pinagbaligtad ko po ng position, this gives you a negative value of A1. Please take note of this. Ito po yung typo error ko doon. Para lang po hindi natin makalimutan. Okay. And then, if vector A is given by this one and vector B is given by another, then the cross product, naalala niyo pa yung matrix, determinants. So ganito po ang gagawin natin doon. A cross B, lalatag mo lang siya in matrix form in this order, AX, AY, AZ. Tapos kung nauna po si A, A1, A2, A3, and then B1, B2, B3, and then you apply determinants po dito. So main diagonal minus the counter diagonal. So I'm sure you are familiar with the determinants naman po in procedure. Number 7, area of parallelogram is basically the magnitude of A cross B. And then area of the triangle is 1/2 of the area of the parallelogram. Okay, so there are two formulas po for cross product. Pareho ng dot product. Ito po yung isa. A cross B is equal to AN, magnitude of A, magnitude of B, sine of theta AB. And then A cross B is equal to yung matrix ng AX, AY, AZ, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. Okay. So let's have this one. Example number 1. Given two vectors, A and B, find the cross product of vectors A and B. So, ilatag lang po natin. Lang po. Water lang po for a while. Nag-dry po ang aking throat pag sobrang tagal nagsasalita. Okay. Punta po uli ako sa whiteboard. Okay, so I have 2 minus, okay po. I have this example, the whiteboard. Example. So given vectors A is equal to 2AX minus AY plus AZ. And then we have B is equal to negative 3AX plus 4AY minus AZ. And then let's solve for A cross B. A cross B. So ang gagawin nyo lang po ganito. Latag nyo lang po siya in matrix form. Matrix form. So, ganito po lagi ang pagsusulat. AX, AY, AZ. In that order. Tapos, since nauna po si A, copyhin mo yung coefficient ng A. So, I have 2, negative 1, and positive 1. So, si coefficient naman ng B, you have negative 3, 4, and negative 1. Malinaw po ba yung pagpo-plot in matrix form? Pagkatapos po, when we use determinant, what we do is we copy the first and second column. Okay, copyhin ko AX to negative 3, and then AY, negative 1, and 4. Para diretso na lang po yung diagonal natin. So, main diagonal is positive, counter diagonal is negative. So, ibig sabihin, multiply ko ito, positive yan. Sige, red na lang dito. So, AX times negative 1 times negative 1, that's positive AX. Positive din po ito. So, AY times 1 times negative 3, negative 3, AY. AZ times 2 times 4, we have positive 8 AZ. Again, if you have questions po, sabihan nyo lang po ako. Counter diagonal, minus na po ito. No? So, minus na po yung operation. So, I have negative 3, negative 1, and AZ. So, that will be 3AZ. 4, 1, and AX. So, that will be positive 4AX. Negative 1, positive 2, and AY. So, we have negative 2, AY. And then, simplify lang po natin. No? Let us simplify. Simplify lang po. Combine similar terms. So, I have AX minus 3AY plus 8AZ minus 3AZ minus 4AX. Then, distribute ko po yung sign plus 2AY. Simplifying, so we have negative 3AX. Sa AY naman po, negative AY. Sa AZ naman po, I have positive 5 AZ. So ito na po yung A cross B natin. Procedure lang po siya, no? So susundan nyo lang po yung procedure ng maayos. Okay? Are we following? Nakakasunod po ba tayo sa discussion, sa ating usapan? Or do we have any questions po so far? Meron po ba kayong tanong? Sige, konti na lang po. Pwede na po tayong mag-lunch. Okay. Okay. So after po nito, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, ang Friday po ang ating asynchronous activities. So we will not meet synchronously on Friday. But meron pong activity na nakalagay sa Canvas module na kailangan niyo pong gawin. So sa Friday niyo po gagawin yon. And then we will meet via BBB ulit next week, Monday. Malinaw po. No? So sa Friday, you can do the activities po sa module and I'll see you again on Monday. Pusin po natin ito. Okay. Okay, let's have example number 2. So given vector A and vector B, vector A 2ax plus 4ay, vector B 6ay minus 4az. Question is find the smaller angle between them using dot product and cross product. Okay, dalawang method po ang gagamitin natin dito. Using dot product and cross product. So, okayin ko po yung given. So, dalawang method Ano bang inuna kong gamitin? Dot product at saka cross product. Okay. So, let's have example number 2. Kung na po ba kayo, konti na lang po. Example number 2. Okay. Ang given, you have vector A is equal to 2ax plus 4ay. Vector B is equal to 6ay minus 4ax. 4az, sorry. So find the smaller angle. So find theta AV using dot product and cross product. Ito po yung pinapagamit sa atin. Okay, unahin ko na po si dot product. Ano ba yung formula natin sa dot product? A dot B is equal to the magnitude of A, the magnitude of B, multiplied by the cosine of the angle between them, the smaller angle between them. And then another formula, A dot B is equal to A1 B1 plus A2 B2 plus A3 B3. Okay. Ito yung dalawang formula ng dot product natin. In fact, yung pangalawang formula ang gagamitin natin to solve A dot B is equal to, anong value ng A1? 2. Anong value ng B1? May AX po ba kay letter B? Wala. So, 0. A2, Y, 4. B2, 6. A3, may AZ po ba kay A? Wala. 0. So, times -4. So, ano po yung makukuha natin dito? You have 24. Tama po ba? Now, I need to solve for the magnitude of A. So, meron na ako nito. Kunin natin ito para ma-solve natin yung angle. So, what is the magnitude of A? You have 2 square plus 4 square. Square root of 2 square plus 4 square. How much is this? This is equal to 4.47. So, pwedeng radical, pwedeng decimal. Pwedeng radical, pwedeng decimal. Magnitude of B, square root of 6 square plus negative 4 square, 7.21. Okay. So from our first formula, pwede na nating masolve. No? So you have cosine of theta AB is equal to A cross B over the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B. So nakuha na natin yung A dot B, 24. Nakuha na natin yung magnitude ng A, 4.47. Magnitude ng B, 7.21. Makukuha mo na ngayon yung theta. O, sige, paki-simplify nga po ito. Theta EB is inverse cosine of whatever is the value here. Ano po ba yung value dito? This is 0.745. 0.745. And get the angle. This will give you a value of theta equal to, please check, 41.87 degrees. Tama po ba ang nakuha ninyo? Okay. Now, yung second question po, letter B, we're going to use the cross product naman po. No? So, formula ng cross product natin is A cross B is equal to AN, magnitude of A, magnitude of B, sine of theta AB. Okay. Now, meron tayong alternative formula for cross product. So, A cross B. Are you still with me? Kasama ko pa po ba kayo? Baka mamaya po, wala na kayo dito sa ating pinag-uusapan. So, I have AX, AY, AZ, and then nauna yung A, copyhin ko po yung given. So, 2, 4, and 0. 2, 4, and 0. Sa B naman po, I have 0, 6, and negative 4. 0, 6, and negative 4. Okay. So, copyhin ko po yung first two column. Gamitan ko na po ng determinants. So, AX, 2, 0, AY, 4, and 6. So, red na lang po. So, I have this one, negative 16 AX. This is 0, and this is 12 AZ plus 12 AZ. Oh, minus, counter diagonal na po tayo. This is 0, this is 0, this is negative 8 AY. Tama po? So simplifying, you have negative 16 AX, positive 8 AY, plus 12 AZ. Okay. Now, if I'm going to use the formula ngayon for cross product, take note may AN tayo dito. So, kailangan po nating ma-eliminate yung unit vector. Paano natin ma-eliminate yung vector? Kanina po sinabi ko sa inyo that the magnitude of a unit vector is equal to unity or equal to 1. So, para po ma-solve natin yung problem, dapat po magnitude lang ang gagamitin natin. Magnitude, magnitude, para ma-solve. So, magnitude of AN is 1. So, kukunin din natin yung magnitude nitong 16. No? So, A cross B, kunin natin yung magnitude niyan. So that will be square root of 16 square. Okay. Negative 16 square plus 8 square plus 12 square. How much is this? Paki-compute na po, tulungan niyo na po ako para matapos. 21.54. Okay. So, pwede na natin gamitin po ito. So, para makuha po yung sine theta AB, so we have the magnitude of A, sorry, A cross B. Okay. A cross B, magnitude lang, no? Magnitude of A, magnitude of B. Ayan. Para makuha po natin yung angle. So, theta AB is equal to inverse sine of 21.54 over, kinuha na natin yung magnitude nito sa dot product. So, gagamitin na lang po natin yun. So, this is 4.47 times 7.121. Solve. Ang makukuha po natin dito, 41.94. May konting difference, rounding of error lang po yun. But they are basically the same, 41 point something. Yun po yung angle between A and B. Are we following pa po? Nakakasunod pa po ba tayo? Are we still following? Nandiyan pa po ba kayo? It's 12:06. Okay, salamat. Okay, so meron pang kapiranggot na topic po dito. Although madali na lang po ito eh. Ano lang po ito? Scalar projection and vector projection. So yung scalar projection po natin, ganito lang yon. Meron dalawang vector A and B. So pag kinuha mo yung projection of B in the direction of A, ito lang po ang gagawin. So ipo-project mo lang itong vector B sa direction ng A. So vector B dot AA is equal to the magnitude of B times the magnitude of the unit vector AA multiplied by the cosine of theta. But we know that the magnitude of the unit vector is 1. So vector B dot AA is equal to magnitude of B multiplied by cosine of theta. So pag kukunin mo naman yung vector projection, i-multiply mo lang yung scalar projection by the unit vector. So ganun lang po kasimple. Sige, daanan lang natin ito ng mabilis. So for example, may given vector A and B. So find the projection of A on B. So ang gagawin mo lang po, itong example kanina, projection of B on A. Ito naman, problem, projection of A on B. So vector A dot AB naman. So if you go back to sa formula natin, di po ba ang magnitude ng B ay vector B over B? So ang magnitude ng A, okay. Ito. Vector A dot A, unit vector along B. So paano tayo kumukuha ng unit vector? Di po ba vector over magnitude yan? So pinalitan lang po ng vector over magnitude to. So, pwede mong kunin yung dot product ng numerator over the magnitude. So, magiging 3.28 na po yun. Nag-gets niyo po? So, from here, in-apply po yung formula natutunan natin, magnitude, vector over magnitude, and then sinimplify, ito po yung nakuha. Okay. So, yung example number 2 po, medyo, ano po ito, review po ng pinag-usapan natin. So, at this point, I would like you to practice on this. So, hindi ko na po siya isosolve online. Kaya BBB, gusto ko pong iwanan sa inyo to as practice. So, pwede po mag-lunch po muna kayo. After lunch, computing nyo po ito for practice. And then, meron pong activity dito na gagawin nyo sa Friday. Gutom na rin yung laptop ko. Gusto na mag-lunch. Okay. So, after module 1 po, may assignment number 1, quiz na number 1. Na-duplicate lang po ito, pero pareho lang po ito. So, on Friday, ito po ang inyong gagawin. You're going to do assignment number 1 and quiz number 1. But be sure before you do quiz number 1, nagawa niyo yung assignment muna. Para po makapag-practice kayo. Malinaw po ba? That clear? So sa Friday, wala po tayong live conference sa DVD, but you are tasked to do assignment number 1 and quiz number 1. Ito po yung binabanggit ko nung last meeting natin. So pag sinabi kong gawin nyo yung assignment at quiz for this particular week, you have to do this on time. No, huwag niyo pong sasabihin na next week ko na lang gagawin. Medyo tinatamad pa. Huwag niyo pong hayaan na may mag-backlog po sa ating activity. So be sure you do assignment 1 and quiz number 1 on Friday. Malinaw po ba yun? That clear? Okay. Sige po. Sir, pareho pong sasagutan yung... isa lang. Na-duplicate lang po yun dito, Andrea. Yung assignment 1, isa lang doon ang kailangan yung gawin. Na-duplicate lang sa Canvas, pero same lang ng content yun. Isa lang po ang sasagutan. Magre-reflect naman po yun. Okay? So again, to do on Friday, assignment 1 and quiz number 1, but meron po akong iniwan na problem sa inyo pag-practice sa inyo mamaya after nyo kumain. Okay? Sige. So, thank you for attending our first lecture. We are 44 in BBB. So, halos 100% po tayo in attendance today. So, salamat naman. And importante po dito na, yes, opo. Trev, twice a week dapat tayo mag-meet. Monday, Wednesday. Although, ang required po is 2 hours, pero hindi kaya ng 2 hours eh. Ngayon, kung halimbawa na kaya nating tapusin yung discussion ng module sa Monday, pwedeng libre na rin yung Wednesday. But case-to-case basis na lang po. Yes, oo, sige Paul. Ilalagay ko sa announcement yung lecture note ko. Ilalagay ko sa announcement yung lecture note ko. Ilagay ko na nga ngayon. Sige. Announcement para hindi ko makalimutan. Dapat lang may OneNote kayo sa PC para tanggalin ko po ito Ginamit ko kasi itong module na ito sa ibang delete. Wait lang po. Delete. Clear ko po muna yung aking announcement dito. Okay, so dito ko po ilalagay yung notes na ginamit ko ngayon. Lagay ko po sa announcement. First lecture. Touch. Is the lecture notes. Lecture notes 1 na lang po ilagay ko. Tapos, choose a file. Okay, section I, S1, NG3, okay. Check ko lang po, baka mali yung open. Send ko muna. Check ko na lang kung tama yung na-send ko sa inyo na notes. Okay. Ano? Okay. So, yun. Tama. Dapat yung date lang nag-appear. Okay. Na-attach ko na po yung notes doon sa ating announcement. So, you can review the notes po sa announcement po natin. So, every time po na mag-lecture tayo, doon ko po i-upload yung doon ko po i-upload yung ating lecture notes. Okay. So, I think that will be it for pwede po bang sagutan ng mas maaga? Okay, sige, ganito. Hindi ko po kayo i-restrict sa pagsagot ng assignment at quizzes, but major exam, naka-define po yung time at date po doon. Sige, so sa quiz, you can answer the quiz anytime, any day before or on Friday. Okay? Reggie? Stop share na po ako ngayon. And then, okay, sige. So, any more concern? Bago po tayo mag-adjourn ng ating meeting. Okay, thank you, Trev. So, kung wala na po, please do the activity for this week and then I'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much and stay safe po everyone. Ingat po tayo.